Gabriel, welcome to Halloween Daily. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, awesome. Happy to be here.
Well, we're talking about Amelia's Children, and I've watched the movie and I was reading up on you a little bit. And I know you've worked all over the world, it looks like, but originally you were born in North Carolina. Is that right?
Yeah, totally in Chapel Hill, but I actually spent very little time there. Like when I was two, my parents moved back to Portugal, 2 months
Okay.
old. And so then I grew up a little bit in Portugal. Then I moved to Belgium because my dad got a job in Brussels, and then they got a job in outside DC. And so I moved back to the States and grew up most of my life in the States. And then after school, I went to school in New York, which is where I am now. And after school, I went to art school. I decided to try to go make a movie in Portugal, sort of like Ed in the film. Like I went to Trás-os-Montes, the north of Portugal, and yeah, I was just like I had this pipe dream of doing a feature in like my grandma's village. So yeah, a little bit all over.
Okay. And again, I mentioned North Carolina because that's where we're based. I'm actually on
Oh,
the Outer
awesome.
Banks in a town called Kildover Hills in North Carolina. And so it's always cool to see somebody from here, doing great things that we're proud of. But that makes a lot of sense. Hearing that you're from Portugal, because that was going to be my next question is how do you end up making this feature film that is set and takes place in Portugal and is shot there and everything? So now it all makes a lot more sense to me. And but you're actually incorporating some of your real family history, and that is a big theme of this movie, obviously.
Totally.
This main character, as you said, Ed, discovering his biological family, and it's a horror movie, so I felt it's a little bit of a be careful what you wish for type of
Totally,
theme.
totally.
So can you talk a little bit about that, about shooting there, like you said, in Portugal, at in your around your family legacy, as it were, much like Ed is in a way.
So I've been in Portugal for like since 2006, so quite a long time now, and it's awesome. There's great things and bad things, like there is everywhere else. In Portugal, we're very lucky to have basically a way to finance films that's like supported by the state. There's like a budget every year, and they'll produce not so many films, but like 15 films a year. And Amelia's Children is one of the lucky films that was able to be produced that way. And the past 17 or 18 years have been fighting to sort of be able to do that, and doing a lot of shorts. And I filmed a bit all over the world. I filmed in Brazil, filmed in Angola, Sri Lanka, Haiti, so like quite traveled. Then the most recent films, my feature Diamantino and this film, are both shot in Portugal. I don't know, in terms of like personal inspirations and stuff, I took the travel from the States to Portugal as part of an inspiration that's related to me. And then my grandma is from the north of Portugal, where the family's from in the film. But otherwise, it's total fantasy. But I always like taking at least a few things from my life for whatever I'm working on. In terms of working there, it's like I don't know. We're working on a modest budgets, more modest than most U.S. productions. So it's a struggle. You're trying to make a film that looks twice or three times or 10 times more well produced than the money you had to make it. And the whole team, everybody was fighting for the same thing, so that felt really good, whether it's the actors or DP or the lighting team. Like everybody was really, really invested. We got really lucky with the house. Like the house is almost a character in the film. And at first we were thinking of doing everything in a studio and building sets, but the budget was a little too high. And we got so lucky. We found this house that's this old palace and it's falling apart, but they rent it for movies. And since it's falling apart, you can paint, the walls and sort of use it as a studio. Change the flooring, put the furniture that you want in it. And so that was so awesome. It was like very serendipitous to find this house and be able to, make it, dress it up how we wanted.
Very cool. And it definitely adds, this kind of exotic flavor to it, because it is, not a familiar location that we see all the time. And I think it adds some depth to it and understanding your family history. Now, of course, for Ed, he goes here and things don't go as great as one might wish when they're meeting their biological family. And I don't know how much you want to give away as far as the plot and everything, but can you talk us a little bit about the twists into this movie and how you incorporated that and the origins of that story?
Yeah, I don't know. The idea of like doing a DNA test to find out where you're from, it speaks a lot to our time. Like, obviously there's these companies, 23andMe and Ancestry, etc. And I think there's such an obsession of like trying to basically, I feel like the explosion of globalization and the internet and social media, everybody's feeling almost like a little more lost, like there's a lot more connectivity, but a little more alone. And we're all really hungry for meaning and trying to find sort of band-aid quick solutions for like, who am I? What's my purpose in life? What's the meaning of life? And sometimes we think it's as easy as like, if I know where I'm from or what my roots are, that'll sort of solve that equation. Like I don't have to do the work of actually finding out who I am or what's important to me. I feel like who people are is what they care about. And sometimes we want the quick fix, which is like, I don't even need to worry about what I care about. I just need to figure out where I'm from, and then that'll tell me who I am. And that's sort of the error that Ed makes, right? That's his sin at the beginning, is like he thinks that his sadness or loneliness or whatever anxiety he might be feeling at the beginning of the film will be fixed by finding out where he's from. And so the film's, I guess, a little metaphor for that. It's like, I guess maybe that isn't the best solution.
Definitely not always the best solution for everybody. It seems like. Again, I definitely got to be careful what you wish for sometimes, and even down to Bridget's character being the one, who kind of gives him this test and everything, and kind of kickstarts everything, and where it all goes with that. I thought that was definitely a careful what you wish for scenario in a lot of ways. And of course, the film comes out this Friday. I know horror fans are going to love it. If you'll indulge us for just a few minutes, we are Halloween Daily News, where every day is Halloween for us. And, this is a creepy movie, a good horror movie that people are going to, I think, enjoy, especially, well, any time of year. But it's kind of got that Halloween vibe in a lot of ways. I'm curious, with you having spent so much time not here in the States, do you look forward to and celebrate Halloween like we do? Is it something you get into or have memories of growing up?
I mean, I grew up here in the States, and so like Halloween, I would say was my favorite holiday of the year. You get to dress up and be a weirdo and be anonymous and go ask for sugar at like strangers' doorsteps. It's like awesome. And it's such a like, pagan ritual for a very, puritanical culture to indulge in, it's just funny the contrast. Like it like you've got this night of witchery and demons and evil, but it's being celebrated by children. I just think it's so definitely was my favorite thing. And when I went back to Portugal, I was really bummed that there was less of it. Obviously, they have Carnival, which you also have in Brazil and Haiti and wherever, but it's a little different. It's less ghoulish, more celebratory, and I guess I like that ghoulish side. And also, there's there's no trick or treating or whatever, which I always love.
Excellent. Well, I love to hear that, and that makes a lot of sense too. Obviously, to us who live and breathe, it's always October in our brain. And then the last two questions before we let you go, if you don't mind, we always like to ask everybody your favorite Halloween costume that you've ever worn and your favorite Halloween candy.
So favorite Halloween costume. I guess the one that sticks out the most is, but actually, because it's a little sad, it's like I was 7 and I really wanted to be a witch, but I wanted to be a warlock because I didn't want to be, confused with being a girl or something. I was nervous about that. And my mom was like, "Are you sure? Like the kids might make fun of you or whatever." And then it did get made fun of at school, but I always remember that it's like no shame in being a witch if you want to be a witch.
There you go.
And candy, I was always a big fan of the mini Snickers.
Yes, I'm a huge Snickers fan myself. Can't go wrong with those picks. Well, again, thank you so much, man. I love the movie, and I know our audience is going to enjoy it. As we're recording this, it's going to be out this Friday, March 1st. So I know everybody's going to enjoy checking it out. And again, every day's Halloween for us. We always hate saying goodbye. So instead, I'm just going to say to you, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween as well.